Okay, so as you can imagine, things have still been relatively busy here in Florida. So we're going to be talking about specifically moving to Florida, why you may not want to wait to decide. Getting after that next. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida. If you're looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is a channel for you. Go ahead, subscribe, hit the little bell to make sure you're notified every time. And if you'd like to get your search started immediately, go to ournextfloridahome.com and register there for full access to our MLS, or go to our app, Our Next Florida Home. These will both let you get started on your searches now and see live time information just like we see it. I'm getting calls from people every single day and I absolutely love it. If you're somebody that has more questions beyond what you're finding in these videos, you've got to do what everyone else is doing. You've got to call, text, or email because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. All right, so the first question I need to ask people is where are you getting your advice from? You're getting it from the Uncle Bob? You're getting it from the buddy down the street? Somebody at the bar? Wherever it is, you have to make sure where you're getting your information from is a good source because things are still cranking here in Florida. It's not changing. I'm going to give you some personal situations that happened this week, as well as talking about some of the changes going on around the area, some of the things that could affect you if you're going to be moving to the area. So stay tuned into all of this to make sure you get all the information you need. Now, people are making these decisions because it is getting tougher. Our inventory is not too bad. The pricing seems like it adjusted a little bit, but it's kind of in a holding pattern right now. So the one piece of advice I can give you, instead of talking to all these other people, find a professional to work with, somebody that knows what's going on, somebody that sees it happening on a daily basis, and that can actually guide you to good decisions. Now, one thing I'm going to warn you about again is beware of all these people coming with these doomsday reports. Whether it's through YouTube, whether it's through news articles, everybody's got something to say to get the eyes, get the views. That's what everybody's trying to do. I'm trying to give you real information. The article that we're talking about here, they're talking about how Florida may not be affordable for people any longer. Then the article goes in and talks about Miami specifically. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Miami is literally the most expensive city here in Florida. And it's probably one of the most expensive cities around the country. So using that as the barometer to say whether you should move to Florida or not, probably not a great idea. You're setting yourself behind the eight ball right out the gate. So what I did today is I went in and searched for single family homes in Cape Coral alone. Just one spot. $275 to $350. There were 153 of them. So tell me again how it's not affordable to live here? That's something that most people should be able to afford to get into the area, to have their own space, to not share walls, to not be under a landlord's guidance, but to actually have your own single family home. So there's quite a few options in that price range right now. Will it stay that way? Who knows? But that's what we're currently looking at. And to share with you how the market's actually moving, in the last 24 hours, there were 84 new listings, 111 closings. That means done deal, moved in, all good, and 76 pendings. Pending is when under contract. So there is literally, as always has been, 2 to 1 of things leaving the market to coming on. That hasn't changed. So this is what I know. This is what I see on a regular basis. And that's why I speak to it so adamantly, because these reports that you're seeing other places are absolutely BS. I'm telling you, this is the numbers. I'm showing you where I'm getting it from, and you will have direct access to the same information should you register or go on that app. Now, Dave and Denise, they made a decision this week. They have been back and forth with we own a piece of property, we're thinking of building's going to take 2 years plus. I don't know if we can wait for that. We found them a fantastic golfing community right in between Cape Coral and Punta Gorda. It's going to have 4 restaurants. It's got the clubhouse, a wonderful fitness center, multiple lakes. The golf course is gorgeous. The unit they're buying is brand new and it won't be done until next year. So they put a deposit on it now and they get to let the thing kind of build its value. There is no escalation clause in this contract. So they're locked in on their price. They've got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a den, roughly about 1,200 square feet with a 1-car garage in this awesome community. They're thrilled. They aren't going to need the land anymore because they're not going to build there. They wanted more of a community lifestyle. They wanted a lifestyle where they're going to be around other people. They'll have activities around them all the time. That's what they're going to get here. That's just one example of somebody that decided to make their decision this week. Now, Tom and Julie, guess what? They also made a decision this week that they weren't going to wait around anymore. Their situation's a little bit different. They come from a construction background up north, so they have skills and abilities to do some of the things that we're going to talk about. But they went in on a Gulf access property that did have storm damage. So the floodwaters came up about 2 feet all the way around the interior of the home. They're well aware of it. We did a video walkthrough. We went through all of the different pieces of information they're going to need for this kind of scenario. But once again, they're very familiar with the process and what it's going to take. But what they weren't familiar with is this became a multiple offer situation. We are back in that with certain properties. This home went well over asking price. It was all cash offers. There was no inspection contingency on any of them, and there were escalation clauses with most of the offers. That's how competitive it was for this Gulf access property. So if anybody's telling you, oh, you'll get a property anytime, or oh, you can go do this and do that. No, you can't. Every situation is not the same. This was very specific to that property. The neighborhood it's in was one of the best in Cape Coral, so that's why it was in such high demand. If you find yourself in a situation where you fall in love with the home, I'm almost guaranteeing you somebody else did too. Now, this home will take a little bit of time to do the renovations. We did realize that it probably needed renovated even before the storm. It has a powder blue toilet and tub in the guest bathroom. So yeah, it could use a little touch, little loving on it. But it also has a metal roof, and it has next to brand new AC units, and the lift, the 10,000 pound lift, it works perfectly. So there's a lot of good pieces and parts to this home, and they're going to make it an absolute dream home. So we're going to revisit this in about a year's time just to see. We're going to give Tom plenty of time to work on this, but we're going to revisit this to show what the home went from and what it went to. So if you're thinking about renovating, it could be an option for you. And then I got another call this week from Charles, and he is concerned about timing. So he's got a unit up north that he has to sell, and he wants to buy something here. And he's really concerned with, well, when should I put the home up to sell it? And when should I get something there? And how is that going to work? There's actually a process that allows us to do a simultaneous closing. So I always advise people to go ahead, put your property on the market up there. You can look at all the properties you want here. And once you get that under contract, now go after something here. Get this one under contract. Then we will coordinate both homes to close on the same day or very close to one another, so that either by the time you pack there and get down here, the home's closed and ready for you to walk into, or if it's the same day, it really is a mood issue. But it can be done. We've done this many, many times before. You just have to coordinate all the parties involved on both sides to make sure it's done efficiently and that everybody's talking to one another. So don't be concerned about how you're going to sell your property there to buy one here. We do it all the time. All right, so as of Wednesday this week, anybody that's 23 years old or older can book a room now at the Lighthouse Resort on Fort Myers Beach. Before, you just heard me say it was only for first responders and people that were displaced. Well, now it's open to everyone. So you can still get a room on Fort Myers Beach if you'd like to. They also ended up opening the beach up this week as well. So if that's something that you're attracted to, you just want to be on the sand and you want to get the heat of the sun, the red tide's gone, so now you can be in the water if you choose to. Some people, they're going to have their opinions about it. So once again, pay attention to who you talk to. If it's a negative Nancy or a Karen, just stay away. You're not going to hear anything good anyway. So don't ask opinions of people. Just kind of assess things for yourself, see what's going on around you, and enjoy it. Now, you may get steal deals with real estate at times, or at least get some pretty good deals, but you're not going to get them regularly. It's not going to be a lot of them. One thing you may be able to steal, though, is a boat. Yes, we have this huge field full of boats that were damaged in the storm that are going to be auctioned off. So if you're somebody that is a handy person, or you're okay with getting into a do-it-yourself kind of a project on a boat, or want to spend the money on a boat that did have some damage that maybe it might play out better for you in the long run, to have this done. But this auction is going to take place. I'll get you more details when I find out when that's happening, but I've been by this, I'll call it a boat yard, numerous times, and the amount of boats on this property is amazing. Every time I go by it, I see even more of them. It's positioned just between Cape Coral and Punta Gorda. Nice big field. But that auction will be happening relatively soon. As soon as I get a date, I'll share it with you. If you would like to reach out to me in advance of that, if it's something you're really interested in, I'll see if I can dig up some more information quicker. But that's going down if you want to steal a boat. Now, Cape Coral is getting new dining options. I know I talk about some of the things coming in and when they're coming in. I think we're getting an ABC Liquor that's going to be coming up very soon, very nearby here. The Walmart still has not started out here on the west side, but we do have a new First Watch. It's more of a healthy kind of a breakfast place that is at the intersection of Del Prado and Pine Island Road. It's also there with PJ's Coffee, Firehouse Subs, Mission Barbecue, and if you haven't eaten at a Mission Barbecue, please, please, please do yourself a favor and go check the place out. It's absolutely amazing. The food is wonderful. My son almost wants to get me there on a weekly basis, but I have to tell him, hey, might not be good for Dad's figure. We might have to hold off on that. Anyway, new dining options here for you. Longhorns also took over the Ruby Tuesdays, I believe it was, just up from this intersection, just east of this intersection. So lots of new places to go to eat, lots of different kind of foods to experience, and just more proof of how much growth is coming to Cape Coral. Now, I have to touch on live music venues because it's such a huge thing here. Florida is, when we get into the months that we're in now, where we have beautiful weather. Today was 75. I think I might have saw 78 as the top. When you have a day like that with low humidity, absolutely amazing. When the sun goes down, it only gets better. And that's when you go out to get your live music. It's everywhere. Cape Coral has it, Punta Gorda has it, Fort Myers. Fort Myers Beach is probably going to have some, but it's going to be very select. Not a lot of stuff functioning properly down there yet, but the live music can be found nearly anywhere. And weekends, you can pretty much be guaranteed it's going to be in every one of those places. During the week, there's places that have it multiple times during the week as well. So if you're somebody who likes to be out for live music, check out places like TT's and Fisherman's Village up in Punta Gorda. Dean's is also another place that does a lot of live music up there. In the Cape Coral area, we're going to be looking at downtown Cape Coral area, specifically back streets down there would have live music. And Duval Street is another place. We've got the Dive. We've got the Monkey Bar. We've got a bunch of different places. Torched is out to the west. But there's just a lot of places. Fathoms is also on the southwest side. And then you jump over to Fort Myers, downtown Fort Myers, live music there, and numerous places just around the city. So if live music is your thing, there's going to be plenty of it here. Search it out. Facebook is a great resource to look all this stuff up. But you will find those venues in many, many locations this time of year. Now, if you're a boater, we just had a warning today, again, to be very attentive to the waters and the manatees. Manatees are right now, they're kind of migrating to different areas based on the warmth of the water. There is a place that they like to stay that's up around the water treatment plant because the warm water that comes off of that it's a nice place for them to collect, but they've been talking about how now they're migrating to different areas and to pay attention to the surface of the water as you're tooling around to new areas. So if you're not familiar with an area and it's not a faster zone, please use the speed limits that are marked and pay attention to the water. See if there's any breaching going on, any rippling of the water on top. That a lot of times that's a manatee. There were almost 800 manatee deaths this past year. And they're trying to get a handle on this. Now, 76 of them were due to boats. The others were due to, the seagrasses and things that have been damaged. Finding food for them has been difficult, and the sicknesses and all those other things that happen. They're even finding ways to now try and supplement their food by providing food for them. So do what you can as a boater to protect them. Watch the waters. Watch your speeds in marked areas, and see if we can't save a few of these guys for next year. Now, one of the things I'm finding out is I love going out in the mornings and doing my walk in the weather. I would love to do it every single morning. Problem is, that sun is beating on you all the time. And no matter how much sunblock you use, if you're going in the sun that often, it can be problematic. You already know that I have a dermatologist, Stina McKenna. She's been awesome. She wants to thank everyone that's been contacting her because of these videos. But she is an amazing dermatologist if you need one. And if you keep putting yourself in the sun like I was doing, you may need to visit her more often. Now, I think she likes cutting me and burning me because she does it every time I see her. So what I'm doing differently is I joined a gym recently to be able to do more of the workouts. My home gym wasn't quite enough, but what it also does is it allows me to do all that cardio inside instead of out in the sun. I can choose to monitor my times in the sun now. So if you're somebody that is susceptible to any kind of skin damage or just want to protect yourself longer, there's a number of gyms in the area to be able to sign up for. They're very reasonable priced, and it gives you a place, an outlet to go to. So whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's raining or just sunny, lots of different reasons why you might want to use the gym. But I'm just telling you from a person that has been through this and goes through it more often than I want to. Protect yourself as much as possible, and sometimes that means being inside to take care of your cardio sessions. All right, so there's more complaints out there from people just randomly about what they want to enforce their wishes on people. Somebody's complaining on Facebook about the loud motorcycle noises and why do they have to modify their pipes and blah, blah, blah. BS, okay? A Harley's going to be loud. I have a Victory Cross Country. Yeah, did I change the pipes? Absolutely I did. It needs to be louder like a Harley. I know it won't sound the same, guys. All you Harley owners, I don't need to hear it. I know it's not going to sound like a Harley, but it is a little louder. Now, there's a reason for this. Because all the cagers, that's all those folks in their cars and trucks out there that don't pay attention as it is, you need to also be loud so you can be heard. So if you're somebody that's sitting on your porch over on Pine Island and complaining because the motorcycles are too loud, hey man, I don't know what to tell you. You say you were involved with motorcycles and in the police force and their motorcycle group, yet you are giving this grief to motorcyclists locally. We really don't want to hear it. We ride because the area is conducive to it. Unfortunately, all the traffic doesn't make it any easier, and a little bit more of a way to tell people that we're there is what we're going to do. So yes, you're going to have your lights on during the day. You're going to have your pipes loud, and you're going to hopefully be responsible and not cut in and around the cars as much. But we all have to get along together. So all you Karens, and I think they call them Kens now, there is no agreement on what the guys are called when they're Karens, but if you're one of them, just keep your opinions to yourself. Nobody wants to hear it. Now, while I personally have not used this company, there's a lot of reviews out there for anybody that's looking for an auto transport company or a way to move their vehicle to come down here. Auto Express Incorporated is supposed to be pretty highly regarded, and if you want to give it a shot, here's their information. Give them a call. They've got great reviews, so there's been a number of happy people with them, but sometimes transporting a vehicle is a must, and here's another resource for you to use. And just like that, we're back in the 70s and 80s. We're out of the 30s and 40s. We're into this gorgeous weather that everybody looks forward to this time of year. So after New Year's, tomorrow, and all the visitors come back, next week should be absolutely hectic and mind-numbing of what's going to happen to the traffic here. But all the snowbirds are going to come back on top of everyone else that's here doing work. So if you live locally, brace yourself. If you're coming to visit during season, brace yourself. This is going to be a year that we don't know what we're getting yet. We expect it to be busy. Patience is going to be paramount, especially if you're somebody waiting for dinner reservations at 6 p.m. That's not going to go quickly. Maybe you need to be one of those early birds and go earlier, or you're going to be a late diner. But if you go those prime hours, just be ready to wait. Okay, so that's a little bit more about moving to Florida, why you may not want to wait to decide. If you've got any other questions about moving to the area, check out one of these other videos. And if you've got a specific question you need an answer to, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.